Starry, and we're going to be doing another homesteading project, and this is how to infuse oil with your herbs, your medicinal plants, and your medicinal flowers. I love it, he's right on cue all the time. This is really a great project that you can do yourself, with your kids, in your own kitchen, and it's not going to bust the bank. All you simply need is some oil, and you need to get picking. And when I say you need to get picking, you need to get picking your herbs, whatever herbs you want to choose to infuse, or flowers. There's so many medicinal purposes for flowers out there, or just plants. And you'd be surprised what's in your own backyard, what you may be even mowing. Ooh. So many of us walk by these beautiful plants and flowers that God have created, and there's such value in them, and we don't even know what we have. So if you do a little research, figure out what you have in your area, get picking, get drying it. Just use the sun to dry those plants and those flowers, and when they're dried, then we can infuse them in a oil. Now, I will just real briefly talk to you about the oil. It shouldn't just be any old oil. You can't really grab a vegetable oil. But real quickly, I want to talk about the oil because you need a really good quality oil. But this is where you can break the bank. And then it doesn't make any sense to me. And now, this is just my opinion, but there's proof in the pudding. Because when you go on websites and start looking about how to infuse oil, they're going to talk about the carrier oil. And they're going to recommend some pretty expensive oils. Jojoba oil, avocado oil, sweet almond oil, sunflower seed oil. If you go to the store, you'll see that these little bottles, it's like 15, 20 bucks. Yeah, okay? I can't afford a little tiny bottle of sunflower seed oil because it's the best quality, and that's what you want for your organic infused oil. You know, I use common sense. Now, I will tell you, there is proof in the pudding because I have used really good oil to do my infusions, and I have used the lesser grade olive oil, which I have bought at the Mennonite store, Closeout, and at Winko's. And it is cold pressed, but it is a lesser grade olive oil. And guess what? My infusions turn out the same, my medicinal salves turn out the same, and my lotions turn out the same. I haven't noticed any difference in quality at all. Now, this is a judgment call for you, but I'm just telling you, I'm creating a frugal homestead. Quickly, you go out and you gather your plants and your flowers and your herbs, and you dry them for, every plant is going to be dried for a different time length, sometimes 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks. Use the sun, do it naturally. Don't have to wash it or clean it or anything like that. Just pick and dry. And then we are going to take our carrier oil and we are going to start infusing. Look how wonderful. Look at this. How wonderful these daisies look. This took about 2 days to dry. And I got all the moisture out of these daisies, and I am actually going to pack them in a quart size canning jar. And when you put them in your canning jar, you really want to pack them in there. A huge batch. Look at all this. And I really want to do a salve with both of them, just because of the healing properties of the daisies. Oil can be really expensive. You want to be frugal when you're doing these salves. So what I would recommend is just a good classic olive oil. You can buy those in the larger containers. And you're going to save a lot of money when you buy your olive oil in bulk. And that way you can keep the cost of your salves down. Because why are we doing this? We're doing this to save money and to be more sustainable. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Fill it all the way up to the brim. But you can see this took a whole container of olive oil. Look at that. It's going to take a lot of olive oil, so think wisely what type of oil you're going to choose. You don't want to break the bank on doing a salve. obviously to infuse, at least for me, is to set them out in the sun. If you have a solar oven, set them in the solar oven. It will facilitate the infusion, speeding up the process. But you can see this is my dandelion, and look at the difference already. This has been infusing for about a week, and it starts changing in color. These are my rose hips. Aren't they beautiful? Those are gorgeous. And I only did a little bit of oil with my rose hips because, you know, rose petals, oh, they're so hard to pick. But this is what it looks like now, and in about a week it's going to start changing color because it's going to infuse all that beautiful daisy power. I call it daisy power. But leave it out in the sun. Now, if you don't elect to leave your beautiful dandelions and olive oil outside, now, it's going to facilitate that infusion a little bit faster. I like to use it the natural way instead of sticking it on the stove and doing it on the stove. But you can also just put it on your shelf in a dark place, and it'll infuse within a week or so. But here's my final product after the infusion. See how beautiful it is? And now what we're going to do is just simply drain the dandelions from the wonderful oil which has been impermeated. Look how beautiful that is. I love it. And now I'm just going to squeeze it to get all that infused oil out of there.